Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to be creating delivery labels specifically for Christmas gifts or anything else that you'd like to stick a label on for that special touch. So I'm on the home screen right now and I'm going to create a custom size that is 4 inches by 6 inches. Now, when you're creating a design, usually the default units of measurement is pixels. I'm going to change that to inches, and then in the width I'll type 4 by 6. Now before we move on to our design, I just want to ask that if you learn anything in this tutorial, press the like button, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on. Alright, I'm going to click on the purple button and say create new design. Here is my design right here, and I'm going to start off with some text. So I'll just place some text on my workspace. In here, I'm going to type Kris Kringle. And I'll just crop that and resize it and move it right up here to the top. I'm going to make this text left aligned like that, and I'll resize it. I'll leave it like that for now. I'm going to go ahead and put some more text on my workspace. For this next text, I'm going to change the font to a different font. So I'll use DM Sans. So I'll go into the font chooser, and this is DM Sans. You can also search for it up here in the search bar. Going to make that wider, and again I'm going to left align that text. In here I'm going to type in the address, and I'm going to put 123 Elf Road, North Pole 99999, and I'll just make that a whole bunch smaller. Maybe I'll make that 18 points. Now I'm going to take a copy of this, so I'll click on the text box and then I'll say duplicate, and I'll bring that right up here. In here, in all caps, I'll type ship date, and I'll put 24 December and 25. I'll press enter. And for the actual weight, I'll just put 1 pound. I'll press enter again, and I'll just do value priceless. I'm going to add a line, so I'll press L, and I'll bring this right up here, and I'll just extend the line all the way across. Now you can also use the guides to just follow the same margin on both sides. So I'll grab the guides so that we have something to follow. And I'll grab my text here and I'll just move it over a little bit like that. And I'll shorten my line just a little bit. I'm going to make this line a little bit thicker, so I'll come up here to the stroke. And in here, I'll just change it to 2. I'm going to make this a little bit larger just so that you guys can see it a little bit more. I'll make a duplicate of this line and I'll just bring it down here. I'm going to take a copy of this text box and I'll just make it wider and replace it with North Star Express delivery. Now I want to extend this text all the way across the width of this label. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to advanced settings and I'm going to increase the letter spacing so that it comes all the way across. And I'll make it centered. Now, if if you move your guides accidentally, we can also lock the guides so you don't accidentally move them. To do that, you can just go into File, Settings, and Lock Guides, and now they won't move. I'm going to continue, so I'll make a duplicate of this and I'll bring this down here. In here, I'll type 2, and I'll make that a little bit smaller like that. And I'll make a copy of this bolded text and bring it down like down here. And I'll put the recipient's name in here. I'll make that a little bit wider like that. Now, there's a little bit of space in between the lines, so I'm going to decrease the gap in between that paragraph. So I'll click on the text box, I'll come up here to the advanced settings, and I'll decrease the line spacing just to bring it together a little bit like that. I'm going to grab this line, I'm going to make a duplicate, and I'm going to bring it down here like that. I'll make another duplicate and I'll bring it here. I'm going to go into my elements and I'm going to grab a bar code. And we have a whole bunch of different barcodes that we can use. I'm just going to use this one right here and I'll put it right there. I'll make it a little bit larger. I'll grab this text, I'll make a duplicate and I'll bring it down here. In here, I'm going to type NSD for North Star Delivery. And I'll make another duplicate and type in here official delivery from the North Pole. I'll just make this wider just to fit in there a little bit better. I'm going to grab the first text box and I'm going to make it bold. And for this second text box, again, I'm going to decrease the spacing between the lines. So I'll come to advanced settings and I'll decrease the line spacing. I'll bring it down a little bit like that. I'm going to grab this text box and I'll make it a little bit bigger like that. I'm going to grab this text box right here. I'm going to come down to the bottom here and I'm going to paste this text here. I'm going to bring it all the way down here. And in here, I'll just say, do not open until December 25, 2025. And I'll just center it in the middle. I'm going to add a shape. So you can come up to elements and under shapes, you can add either a rectangle or a rectangle with rounded corners. It really doesn't matter which one you put on your workspace. You can even press R and that will place a rectangle on your workspace. I'm going to make it a little bit larger, like this. And I'll just crop it to fit right outside the text, or right around the text. Now I want to add a dashed line. So I'm going to come up here to the stroke and I'm going to add this type of a dashed line. I'm also going to round the corners. So I'll click this curve right here and I can change the corner rounding or increase the corner rounding to my preferred roundness. So I've got it at about 12. And I'm also going to change the color of the border to red. So I'll come here to this icon here. That is the stroke color. And I'm going to change it to red. I'm also going to make the shape transparent. So I'll come up here to this, the color, the shape color, and I'll make it transparent. That way it's see-through. And you can do that pretty much for any shape. Now, if you don't like this oval or rectangular shape, you can also come here to edit and you can change it to any shape that you like. I'm going to back out and I'm going to search for a Santa Claus. I'll go into graphics and I'll just place this graphic on my workspace of Santa. And again, I'm going to take a copy of this text. I'll come down here, and in here, I'm going to type naughty I'll make another copy, and I'll type nice. I'm now going to add a circle by pressing C so that we have the ability to check off whether the recipient has been naughty or nice. And again, I'm going to make that circle transparent and I'm going to add a border. And I'll just change the border stroke to a 2. I'll make a duplicate and I'll bring that down here. And we can also add a check mark. So I'll just in here type in check mark. Now we can also put some postage marks on here as well. So just search for postage. I'll go into graphics and you can just search through for postmark, postage mark, whatever, happens to come up that you like. So here is 1 and I'll just put that here. Let's also search for a priority. I don't know if anything's going to come up as priority mail. We can take a look. So here are some, but I think I'm going to actually just search for priority. So here is one right here that we can put there. Okay, let me make this a little bit smaller just so you can see what that looks like now. So that is what it looks like right now. And now keep in mind that we don't have anything on the back of this design. So I'm pretty much done with this design, but I want to add a couple of more things. And like some of my other videos, I'm going to ask you like, which one do you like the best? I'm going to take a copy of this page. So I'll duplicate this page. And on the second page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a rectangle. So there's my rectangle. Let's go into position and layers just for a sec. You're going to notice that my background is white, okay? That means if I change the background color to gray, my whole label is going to turn gray. And I don't, like you might want that, but I don't necessarily want that for this design. I'm going to undo this. And here is my rectangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm just going to place it right behind my design, but leave a little bit of a space going all the way around like this. Now I'm going to move the text down a little bit. That way it's not going over my rectangle. I'll do that in a sec. But I'm also going to change the color of this gray rectangle to white. So I'll change it to white. And behind this rectangle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually place a background behind it. So I'm going to go to Elements and I'm going to search for a striped background. Okay, now you can either use a graphic or you can use photos. It doesn't matter, but really what I'm looking is for a white and red background. So let's go into graphics and see if we can find anything that will help us. This is an idea here, although I do want something that is more red. So let's see if we can change that. That is perfect. I'm going to take this and I'm going to rotate it a little bit and I'm going to place it right there. I'm going to duplicate it and I'll put it beside, duplicate it again, and duplicate it again. I'm going to go to Position and Layers. I'm going to grab all these. And here's the last one. And I'm just going to group them so that they stay together. And I'm going to duplicate the whole thing. And duplicate it again. And I'll group all of them together again. And now I'll just make them a little bit larger, like that. And I'll make it a little bit larger on this end as well. Okay, let's go to Position and Layers. So Position and Layers is already open. I'm going to take that grouped element and I'm going to bring it all the way to the back. All right, let's zoom back in. We're missing part of the design. We're going to fix that right now. Let's grab our white box and let's move it to the back just before that red and white striped background. So now we can see all of our design. Let's grab our text here and let's just move this down a little bit like that. And if we want, we can even bring this in just a tad bit so that's not on the edge. So that is our second design. So let me know, what do you think of this design? I'm going to copy this design. So copy and paste, and we're going to do one more design. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Position and Layers, and I'm going to get rid of that red and white striped background. And of course, you can move this stuff around anywhere you want to too. So if you want the barcode to be up here, maybe you want the address to be down here, you can swap things around, add things as you wish. Let's go back to Elements and let's search for a postcard. Let's go into Graphics and let's add this to our workspace. I'm going to rotate this like this, and I'm going to try and put this right behind my postcard. Now we're going to notice that it doesn't fit all the way, but you know what? I'm just going to take a duplicate of it and I'm going to extend it down, and then I'll just put them right behind. You won't even be able to see. So here is one of those postcards. Here's the other one. I'm going to grab them and I'm just going to bring them right behind that white rectangle like that. So that's what that's going to look like. Okay, so what do you think of that? That is my third design. I'm going to take a copy of this and let's do one more thing. Okay, so here's the fourth page. I'll go back into Position Layers. I'm going to get rid of the postcards. And this time we're going to go into Elements and we're going to search for some Christmas ornaments. And I'll place these on my workspace and I'm just going to put them on the edge here. I'll take a copy. I'll put these over here. And I'll go to Position and Layers. And I'm going to bring these two elements again behind my white rectangle like that. So that is our fourth design. So let me know, which one do you like the best? Did you like the first one the best, the second one, the third one, or the fourth one? Let me know in the comments. Let me know, did you learn anything in this tutorial? Did you like this tutorial? Maybe you didn't like this tutorial. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn more about my live classes, ask me and I'll give you more information. All right, for now, my friends, I'm going to say bye-bye. Until next time.